What's going on, guys? We're back. We got a video from, it's actually going to be the tactical group Athena, the Gore team Athena. A lot of you guys know about Athena. I have a couple friends on this team, and we've never seen actual footage of any combat footage from Athena, but you always hear about Athena, which is interesting, at least being here in Ukraine. So this is going to be really cool. It says Blood and Sweat Recon Part 1 Athena Group International Legion. So before we jump into this, make sure you're following these guys. Looks like Tactical Group Athena and International Legion of DIU both have their own channels. Follow them. I'll tag both of them in the description of this video. Hey, quick shout out to everybody who came through to the live stream yesterday. That we had a lot of fun, man, over in the Discord. I just spent like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, hanging out, bullshitting, talking, answering questions. We watched some videos. Watch some news headlines. It was just a lot of fun, man, and I appreciate everybody that showed up because I like to hang out with you guys like that, so thank you. Lastly, obviously, if you're not in the Discord, make sure you do jump into it. We keep all of our uncensored footage there as well for our paid YouTube members, and then check out the merch, you guys. We've got hats, hoodies, t-shirts, all the new different breed merch, as you asked for, and you guys asked for it. It took me a while to get it set up, and I got it set up, and you guys absolutely have been taking advantage of it, so thank you. That it means the world to me. Okay, how long? How far in are we? A minute and a half? That's not bad, man. Let's jump into this. I'll stop talking because this is the 30-minute video, so it's gonna be long anyways. A little too small there. That's what she said. That's funny.
Fuck, blood, 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 blood. Kill everybody and die for their country doing it. Fucking birds, taking steroids and killing Russians. You just got to have big balls.
Boy, if I see one of these airborne down and I'm going to stick this up his fucking ass.
It was full of Russians.
Airborne assault.
Fuck, that's a drone. Well, I call us the bastards. Now we're getting ready for fucking action. So I was on deployment in a place called Zaporizhia. We was there for around 4 months. We was given an emergency call out to go to an area which I can't name to do some forward action. But the overall mission was to go out and stop an encirclement. Then they was trying to encircle a village, and our job was to stop them. We was pulled out very fucking sharpish. Dismantled the line on the Sunday, and by the Monday morning we was packing our gear up. The whole direct action teams were fucking heading to the area which I can't name. Once on arrival, we was then finding safe houses, letting the team settle down, doing some dry training, moving through tree lines and stuff like that. And that was just to settle the guys down, because I understand the situation when people are just sitting around, they get scared, they get worried, they start overthinking things. So I kept the guys busy as best I could, but at the same time, me and my 2IC...
I don't know who this guy is, but I like him, man.
He was having a few small conversations with the commanders. They was giving us an overview of what was going on. And immediately I understood that, you know, it was a serious situation and, you know, we was up against a big fight. So after speaking with the commanders and finding out who was on the ground out there, the most important thing, obviously, before you plan a mission, there's an acronym that we use, METTC, which is the mission. And then the most important thing for me is the enemy, who you're fighting. We got an understanding of who it was, and especially the assault that we was going to possibly do. And there was 2 avenues that I was going to try to take. I'll come on to that in a minute. But in this particular tree line, because they was trying to encircle a village, in this particular tree line, they were supposed to be these badasses that want to kill everybody and die for their country doing it. There was a little bit of a joke being played, like, you know, that we don't fight pussies, and me and my 2IC was looking at each other like, well, we fucking do, because we understood the situation was going to be pretty tough. So straight after this, I was told to be prepared to do the recon. Being a team leader, I have to go out on the ground for many reasons. My main personal reason for doing this is so the guys see me going out there first, and 100% they have trust in what the information I'm giving them, and it's to show them, look, if I'm going, you can go. So I always go out first. So I took, at this particular time, you would only...
That's nuts, dude. That entire perspective on everything is incredible. I love that he says that.
You take minimal team because you're only going out to do a recon. That's the recon of the path going in, possible places that we can stay when we get out there for a staging area, for cover if we get stuck out there, and then a recon of how we're going to get up to do the assault, what's in front of the assault, many things that we need to do a recon from, but the grind was moving so fast where we was, it was on the main tip of the offensive of where they was pushing. So I knew that even before we did the recon, we was given information that there was Ukrainian positions in certain areas. And I was going to use that as a diversion. I was going to fire some machine guns from this one particular position and then counterflank them. So they thought they was being assaulted from this side. But that position got taken before we even stepped off to do the recon. So that plan was a little bit out the window. But anyway, I decided to take 4 guys with me, one of them being my machine gunner. Now, I make a joke of this. If Carlsberg could do a machine gunner, he would be it. He's fucking absolutely fit perfect for the job. All he likes is fucking birds, taking steroids and killing Russians. So I took him with us, but I left him a little bit further back. There was a real bad area that we had to cross, and I had to get across there quick, do the recon and then come back because we had to prepare for the mission. But I kept him there just in case anything happened, and we needed his help and they could come over and back us up, because some Ukrainian soldiers got killed, went missing, we don't know in this particular bit, but I'll come on to that as the mission goes on. So I kept these guys there. I briefed them, prepared them, told them what it is that we're going to be expecting. When you're going into this, in these areas, there's been a lot of different friendly forces brigades there. So when you're going there, the information you receive, this is just my own experience, it can be mixed because they don't know what the friendly forces before them have done in this area. And what I mean by that is mines. So when we infilled, we had to do a crossing. So we've gone up through the tree line and there was a crossing of around, I checked it on the combat vision, of around 400 meters. Now that's a fucking long way with 4 guys. So we individually took it in turns running across there. But when it was...
Fuck that noise, dude. That entire open field right there. Nope. Nope. So many drones, man. These guys are ballsy as hell.
It's my turn and my machine gunner's turn. We pretty much go together. Me and him are good brothers. And I was just in front of him, he was behind me. But as I'm getting through there by about 100 meters, I noticed there's mines on the fucking floor. And my 2AC now shakes out, be careful, there's mines. Which was not fucking great, because obviously we're big guys. You know, the mechanism to set the mine off, they say, is around 105 kilos. We don't know how long these mines have been there for, so, you know, that could probably be 100 kilos in weight that could set it off. So if one of us fell on it, we're all fucking dead. So we're now cutting through these mines. We then get into the tree line. When we get into the tree line, we again notice there's even more fucking mines in this tree line. So we slowly move through the tree line. We also had an interpreter with us, which is a new officer. So it wasn't that I was not happy about taking him out with us. This was his first recon and first forward mission. Before that, he's only done defense mission, and I understood how crazy this area was. So I was really worried about taking him out because, you know, I don't want to have to explain to the command that something's happened to him. So there's a lot of weight and pressure on you. So he was at the front. Why? Not because I wanted him to stand on the mines, but because he's the interpreter. So if we come across any Ukrainians that have been out there for a long time and we don't speak the native tongue, it could be a problem. So he's up the front with my 2IC. So we moved through there fairly slowish. And then I noticed that there was anti-personnel mines in there as well.
Jordi, the grey ones, they are anti-personnel.
Where?
Do you see the grey brick?
Come on, let's go, come on. Now this is a bad situation because, you know, it only takes 5 fucking kilos or there's a very small weight to set these anti-personnel mines off. So that made us move even slower. We then got into the tree line and started making our way up through. As we're going through, we have to identify the positions. Who's in this position? Is it a command position, fire support position? And we was given small information of there was a HQ position, another HQ position. So we needed to locate them. And the best information you get is from the guys on the ground. Have small conversations with them, find out what the situation is, how bad it is. Obviously, you probably have to half it and then another half, because obviously guys exaggerate and they talk a bit of shit, but at least you get an overall understanding of what's going on out there. So we slowly made our way up through, and then we got to what I call the bottleneck of the tree line. And as we're making our way up to this bit, immediately when I was given the information before we went out, I checked it on the combat vision. I didn't like the look of it because is roughly around 450 meters. Again, another 450 meters of open ground to maneuver through. But at this point, we're right next to the enemy now, which means we're right next to the drones. So I didn't know what to expect on this bit. And again, like I say, it was me and my 2IC, which was like my brother. So it was going to be me and him plus the interpreter. Luckily for us, the Ukrainians said to us they would give us one of their guys to guide us through. As we got up to the bottleneck, I left the machine gunner and my other brother to stay there and be on the radio. At this point, I forgot to add, at this point, I noticed that we was having a lot of comms problems. We couldn't get through on the radio. For what we found out after was that because of the terrain, they had jammers. So this was another thing relevant to why we do recons, to understand where we can get signal, where we can't get signal, where there's a Starlink, because communication is key. If you don't have communication, it's a fucking problem. You can't call in fire support, you need to give them updates. I've been in the TOC while stuff's been going on, and our commanders, fortunately for us, they fucking really worry about us and care about us. So if we don't check in, yes, immediately when we do check in is fuck, blah, 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 but it's because they worry and they care. So this I could see was a problem. So this is a problem we have to resolve when we come back of how can we get around it. So at this point, especially on this bottleneck, I realized there's no fucking signal. So we now have to open, it was around about 120, 130 meters of open ground. To the right of us is where loads of fighting's going on in a big town. But as we're crossing it, the only way I could describe it is gay as fuck, because it's just shit running across open ground. But this part was my biggest worry, and at this point it didn't seem so bad, because when we cross one by one. The guy with the shotgun first, because he can shoot the drones down and protect us, and he's got the shotgun when he's running across. So he ran across first, and then I run across, and then the officer comes across, and then we maneuver, and then
This is a little bit more similar to the open terrain that I've crossed in when you're moving to different positions, where that looks like maybe 100 meters of open, and then you get it. You at least you have a chance to dive into a tree line or something. They very well may have walked parallel with that opposite tree line there in the open, kind of, so they don't have to worry as much about evading all the mines that may have been dropped in there. But this is more my speed, if you will. But I'll tell you right now, these guys are more high speed than I am, for sure. This guy's a commander, and he's out on the tip of the spear fucking recon mission. I know very few commanders. Maybe off the top of my head, I know one or two that will do this kind of stuff. So shout out to this guy. Still don't know his name.
I run across, and then the officer comes across. And then we were maneuvering through, and the terrain was a lot better than I thought at this point.
We are currently about 2 kilometers from the drop-off point. The tree line and the first tree line is like this. You can very conveniently walk through, and overhead is everywhere thick foliage, so good cover and concealment from overhead.
And then you maneuver through, and then we had to go through, it's just gay as fuck, open ground, and you can hear the drones coming around, but you just got to keep it moving. So then we've now manoeuvred down through, and we've gone to one particular tree line, and then this is probably the last. I think he said it was like 200 meters of open ground. So we've now got into the tree line, and it's been smashed to fuck. And there's fucking drones on the ground with 2 liter bottle of petrol, benzene. And what that does is it works as napalm and just fucking burns everything out, so they can see the situation, because the terrain in this particular area, there's a lot of swampland. So because there's a lot of swampland, it makes it like a jungle. The terrain is like a jungle. It's the only way I could describe it. So the enemy are trying to burn it out to understand where the positions are, because they're trying to push there and they can't push. We've seen a lot of dead bodies there, where they've been getting fucking smashed by the Ukrainians with their machine guns. So we manoeuvred through, found the positions, and then I did a recon of where it was, where we could possibly cross. Didn't like the look of it, but at the end of the day, you have to work with what you've got. No way. There's no right move when you're planning a mission. You just got to have big balls. So we then manoeuvred through, and all I could hear the whole time we was there was a surveillance drone, a Mavic, flying around and just non-stop, just the whole time we was there, just flying around. That's because this area is of massive interest, because they're trying to push down through, as I said, to start this encirclement. We've then gone up to the final Ukrainian position. Past this position, there was other Ukrainian positions, and then there's another crossing to where 2 Ukrainian positions, and now they're trapped. My first thought when I was given the details of this mission, I said I wanted to go around this way. Why? Because we can secure this part of the tree line to stop them from sending more troops down to counter-attack us. But by the time we've gone out to the recon, this one position's now been taken. So now this Ukrainian position is cut off, and 3 Ukrainians was killed down here, which what they suspect was a machine gun. So there's another machine gun down here, and fucking loads of machine guns this side.
Machine gun position was over there. This is the position behind that.
So what we then did
Was over there.
Just dead bodies. I'm gonna have to blur that out, but that's how you know they're in a shit spot. The body's just everywhere.
This is the position behind that.
So what we then did was we've gone with the interpreter to speak with the Ukrainians. As we're speaking with the Ukrainians, they're giving us a rundown of what the situation is there. The intelligence that we received on the right flank, there was minimal Russians in there. What these guys told us, it was full of Russians. We had a little chuckle, a little laugh, because when we was given the intelligence, they said there's a machine gun and it's doing recon by fire either side. And I said to my brother, I was like, listen, I said, there's 2 machine guns in there, because the size of it was probably 1 kilometer long. So 100% there was 2 machine guns in this part. But by this point, the intelligence we received a few days before this was probably the fastest push I've ever seen since I've been here. They was fucking maneuvering around like fucking ninjas. Like, it's like a game of chess, and they was just pushing everywhere. So my first thought was, there's going to be multiple positions in there, and it wasn't going to be as easy as we thought. So by this point, we were getting all the information, and we're recording our GoPros so we can give it to the commanders so they understand the situation, not just for this assault, but for further action if we need to put defensive positions. Then we needed to see if there's positions for us to use as a staging area, what blindages are there, and it was my job to go to the furthest point where this possible machine gun was, which was fucking brilliant. So we was getting the information, but the most important thing, my 2IC asked, is there any friendlies down there? And because of the translation, what we got was, no, 3 guys was there, no they're not, we don't know, we haven't got the guys to cover this particular area. So I said, we're going to look anyway.
Ready? Yeah. Go. So down in this position, there could be Peters. So we're going to go and have a look now. Right, let's go.
So we've then got a little bit excited. So we've then started maneuvering down round there.
What?
Підери. Це посадка, підери.
Ah,
Є. А черешня там.
okay.
No.
He said the Peters are working from right to left,
Yeah.
walking.
What, you can see him walking?
No, not now apparently.
Okay. Keep watching your sector, mate. Keep watching your sector. That's fine, mate. Let him get poked. He can be...
Moving.
Cover the rear.
Covering rear.
Man, this, you can hear the weather, the wind, the rain. This is the weather where infantry moves in this war, because it helps. It's much harder for drones to operate in this kind of weather. They still can, but it's harder for them. It's more taxing on their batteries. They got to do more rotations and more like battery swaps on the drones, especially their surveillance drones and shit. And FPVs are harder to fly as well in this stuff. But if it's easier for you and your guys to move, it's easier for the Russians to move as well. So this is when you'll see actual firefights take place a lot of the time, because both infantry elements or forward elements like recon teams are moving.
Yeah.
We've reconned right up to the tip. We come back. I seen how vulnerable this particular bit was. As soon as the enemy knew that they could push across there, it was going to happen. So I wanted to put a defensive position there. That was my first note I made to myself, is I need to put a machine gun position there to cover this sector, to stop us from getting encircled when we go out there to do our forward action. Then we then start making our way back. Now we have to make our own way back because the guide's gone. At this point, we're starting to make our way back, but what I was noticing was more Ukrainian soldiers was maneuvering across with supplies, and it looked like soldiers. So at this point, I didn't realize that they was coming to fill these blend houses up. So as we're maneuvering across, the three of us, we did the same procedure as we're going back as we came in. You only move one at a time. And one's always covering with the shotgun. So as we're slowly maneuvering across, a lot of mortar fire is coming in on us. Not directly on us, but it's because this is the main crossing to this particular area.
This area here, this is what's protecting this area. When we get to the end of here, it's a thin opening, but it's open ground. And then you get into the tree line. The Peters occupy this whole tree line. He said another 8 went in there yesterday, 4 and 4, on top of the ones that was already in there. So it's chock-a-block preparing for something. So that area down there is dog shit.
And as we're maneuvering through, I find myself, you can use, like I say, the terrain, that fucking real piece of shit area that we had to maneuver through, the swamp. As there's like a big tree area, and you can see that the Ukrainians use this all the time to hide from the drones. And I found myself, we had like Viper hoods on, me and my 2AC. The other guy was already up to the next bush. And then at this point, I stopped and I looked up and I went, fuck, that's a drone. And I just watched the drone just drop down like this. I went, fucking run. And we're running, and he's like, should I try and shoot it? But what I was worried about, it was a dropper drone, and if it dropped, even if it dropped fucking 10 meters away, we're still going to feel it. There's going to be a problem. So I was just like, no, just fucking run. And like I say, there's nothing sexy about anything in this war. And when you hear guys giving these fucking interviews, these tough guy stories, it's all bullshit, because you're scared to death and you look like actual fucking spastics running for your life, because that's what you're doing. And we're fucking running, and I'm like, fucking move. And we get into
I love this fucking guy, dude. Seriously, he is spot on.
To the swamp, and then you've got to spread out. In his fucking jack as it sounds, it is literally every man for himself. You can't sit there wanking each other off. Luckily for us at this point, some guys ran from the town across to that tree line, and the drone seen that and then started immediately firing that part of the tree line. Not good for the 2 guys from my team, because they was taking that.
But if we move now, then they will know where we're at. Hey Pinocchio, if there's artillery, lay on the ground, okay? Not sitting.
There it is.
Okay. But we are moving to you, okay? Fuck. Hey, if you hear the whistle like, whew, then go to the ground, okay? Okay, come on, move.
Stay back.
Back.
Move back.
Move back.
When that died down, we maneuvered back. And then as soon as we get back to the safe house, first of all, we go back, we have a debrief, we tell them the situation, we download the GoPro footage, Now it's time to plan a mission on how it is that we think. But the first thing I wanted to do was go back and explain it to the guys, what the situation is, and if anybody's got something to say about it, let's say it now, let's have a discussion. Because the first thing I did was brief the guys. I said, look, let's all sit down. I can't give you the exact plan, but I'm going to give you an overview of what it is that we're going to do. I said, first off, we're going to go fight some badasses. I said, this is not conscripts. These guys are fucking hardcore. That's the first thing I want to tell you. And there's probably going to be more of them in the tree line than we anticipated. But all guys was confident. I think they had a lot of trust in me and a lot of trust in my TIC. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone out. If they didn't trust us, they wouldn't have gone. And that's the most important thing in this game, is having trust in the people around you. So I gave them an overview of what it was that we was going to be doing, what the task was. But I did say to them, once we go out there, of how hard it is to infill and exfil, I'm not just going to take one position. I wanted to try to clear the whole tree line. Maybe I was overreaching at this point, but my exact words was, I'm not fucking dragging my ass all the way back out here to then try to assault the top positions that the Russians have just taken. If we take this tree line, we're fucking going all the way through. We'll clear the whole thing. So when I said that we're going to clear the whole thing, that's when I called the Operation Cleanup. So then me and my 2IC started the plan of Operation Cleanup. The first plan was the logistics, getting the ammunition, water and extra weapons out to the position. Like I say, it was a cunt to go out there the first time. So the command found us a different infill, which was much better. Obviously, it's still shit because it's a long way and you're getting fucked as you're going through there, but it was good cover, good terrain to move through. The guys, I made an advance party of the guys that would have been playing more of a support role, guys that would have been resting more than the other guys. So the assault teams was preparing their kit, and then I sent an advance party out. With the advance party, I sent out enough ammunition to take out Moscow. The reason being is because I could see the biggest problem that we would have is getting a resupply. So I sent out maybe a bit too much ammunition, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Obviously this fucking pissed the guys off because they had to carry it that whole way. I think it took them that whole day plus the next morning. But another reason why I wanted to do it like this was because it goes back to what I said at the start. If they see you maneuvering through the tree line, especially more than 2 or 3 guys in specialist equipment, they know something's coming. We did not want them seeing us coming anywhere near there. So we was maneuvering across there in 1s and 2s. So I wanted to get all the ammunition as close as possible and all the rockets as close as possible. And then rely on our friendly forces to maneuver it across in their pixel uniforms, because nobody would look at them. And at this stage it worked because they did not know we was there. If they did, they would have fucking sent the whole Russian armada down on there. So we maneuvered across. I got the teams across into the staging area. Most importantly, I wanted the guys to go there, relax, see the situation, in 2s, go up, see where the crossing is. So that was my plan for this. I wanted to get guys out there as quickly as possible before we did the assault. So at this stage, guys understood the situation. We know the mission. We know the enemy. Now it's time and terrain. So for us, the most important thing is getting the guys prepared, because whilst I'm in the talk and whilst I'm planning these missions, there's lots of running around for me and there's lots of running around for my 2IC, but these guys, well, I call us the bastards because we're not these fucking stupid prick operators you see on Instagram. We're fucking we're the bastards. So for me, the fire team leaders is their job, vital job now, to be making sure all their equipment's ready, they're mentally ready, and they're getting their head in the game. This is a big thing. So what happened then? We then typed out the mission plan, and what I wanted to do then, by this point, my son just arrived from Zaporizhia, and he's in the fire support team. So I wanted to go and see my son, spend some time with him, because on the scale, you might not come back for these missions. So we went and picked up my son, me and my 2IC. It was always us 3 together. And then we took my son back to the safe house. We had some banter with him, and then we had until 10 o'clock to send over the PDF version of what it is that we're going to do. And then my commander added that to his overall element involved in this assault, and he made it look fucking super sexy. The next morning, the advance party are going out at 0400. Obviously, they wasn't happy with the amount of supplies that they had to take out, but fucking hell, life is pain. So the guys then have gone forward. At this point, we need the zero thermal scopes. Now we're getting ready for fucking action. All guys are excited. I try to keep the morale high, but really in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I know how serious this is going to be immediately when they told me. I didn't like the look of it. I would have preferred to try to clear buildings first, but we had to go down and stop this, because if they cut off, this was the only crossing, if they cut this crossing off, is a problem for everybody. So this was our main task, to stop this from happening.
Oh, that's where it ends. Dude, that sucks. Is there a part 2 that we haven't seen yet? Nah, it's just the part 1. Damn. That's crazy. All right.
Fuck, blood.
All right, cool. Super cool video, man. Again, did it say this guy's name and I just didn't hear it, or are they not sharing his info? Let me know in the comments down below, please. But I do like a lot of what he's saying, and I do have a ton of respect for any commander that is willing to go out first, especially in a really hot or an AO that's known to be taking a lot of casualties and KIAs. For a commander to say, hey, I'm going to go check it out first, that's huge. It is risky, especially if you're taking the commander and the 2 IC, because if they both get schwacked on that recon mission, that team is effectively, it doesn't have a head anymore, right? You cut the head off the snake, and now you got to find a new head or promote from within, and now your 3rd IC and your fucking, your machine gunner or somebody have to step up as the team lead and 2nd IC. But very cool. And something that I like about this video too is, it's like he said, there's nothing sexy about this war, and that's something that we try to stress a lot on this channel. Is it's not all gunfights and throwing frag grenades and shit. Even though I've got the intro of this and me throwing a frag into a bondage, and there's aspects of that depending on the job that you're filling in on the front line. But 98% is doing exactly what you just saw there, maneuvering from tree line to tree line, house to house, field to field, basically dodging mines, looking down at the ground, dodging mines, looking up at the sky, dodging drones, and then just trying to get to the best looking dirt hole that you can find. And then you set up a position there. So super cool video. Shout out to these guys. I'd love to, if anybody has connections with Athena, like I said, I'm going to reach out to my buddy. I have 1 or 2 buddies in Athena. I'm going to reach out and see if I can get some more info on them, because currently we're recommending 2 Gore teams for foreigners to join if you're on your way out here to Ukraine, Omega and Wave Raid. Maybe Athena should be on that list too. I want to learn more about them. So super cool. Definitely go follow their channel and the Legion DIU channel. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. Help me blow this shit up, you guys. I love you. We'll see you in the next video.